Hey guys, what's going on? I thought I'd make another quick video today, talk a little bit about what I've been doing this past week. Been reviewing some 22 long rifle ammo, and more specifically, 27 kinds of it. So I just thought I'd make a quick video and go over how they shot. All these rounds were shot out of my Ruger Precision Rimfire. I won't go too much into detail about this because I've talked about it before. I won't make this too lengthy either, so without further ado, we'll get right into it. I shot all these ammo over the course of about 4 days. Conditions were pretty much all about the same. So I'll show you guys the targets and talk about them a little bit. First group we have here, first type of ammunition I shot was the American Eagle. Cheap stuff here, as you can see, 38 grains. On this day, it was fairly cold, about 27 degrees, not much wind, 9 a.m. And here's the first group, American Eagle. Measured in at about 1.85, average 1,209 feet per second. I shot all these through a chrono. The max deviation on this was 50 feet per second, and this particular one cost about $2, so not too bad, just about what you expect. The next type I shot was one of my personal favorites. This stuff always shoots really good out of this rifle, and it's this Super Extra. I know they call most of their stuff Super Extra, 40 grains. Here's a group for that. And this stuff you can pick up for about $5.99 a box. I buy it by 500 because it shoots really well out of my rifle. It was averaging about 1,136 feet per second. As you can see here, good group. Had a couple flyers here, but other than that, real solid, still under an inch, 0.83, 82 max deviation, which surprised me a little bit because this stuff's really consistent for me out to 300 yards. But one of my personal favorites here. Love this stuff. Shoots well for me. Next type is a Federal Target. This is 40 grain. Not too bad. Still slightly under an inch. Measured it at 0.97 for me and averaging about 11-12, which is kind of fast. Surprised me. But fairly good max deviation, only at 22 feet per second. And I got this stuff at my local Dunham's. I know Dunham's is a little bit more expensive than other places. You can probably get it for cheaper. $5.99 a box. Shot pretty well. Probably won't be buying it in bulk, but it's something to consider for me anyway. Next type would be the Federal HV match. Again, another Dunham's buy, 40 grains, and picked this up first. Again, I paid $5.99. Not quite as good as you can see here. For there not being much wind, this is not a very good spread here. This measured in at almost an inch and a half, 1,190 feet per second, 39 max deviation. Again, not the worst ammo, but something that you would expect shoot a little bit better for $6 a box. So there's that one. And the second round for the day for those, we have the CCI Standard Velocity 40 grain, which is this stuff here with this beautiful Christmas decoration that they covered up with the price tag. As you can see, I picked this up for $5.99. Apart from this flyer, this would have been a pretty good group. Measured in with the flyer at almost an inch and a half, 1,197 feet per second, 39 max deviation. Again, you can pick this up for about $5.99, probably cheaper other places. Next, we have just some regular run-of-the-mill Winchester small game target plinking. Got this for $10 for 100, and this was one of the worst ones. As you can see, not too spectacular, but for cheap ammo, it's okay. It was 38 grains, measured in at 1.64. A little bit faster, so might be better at long distance or for shooting squirrels or whatever. 38 feet per second max deviation, so not bad. Not a bad plinking ammo. Next, super popular, one of my favorites, the CCI Mini Mag, and these are 40 grain. It says 1235 on the box. For me, ended up measuring about 1202, which is pretty close. Not too terrible of a spread here. This is pretty good. 1.43 measured in that with 53 feet per second max deviation, and I paid $8.99 for these. Again, I think this was a Dunham's buy. $8.99 for 100, so pretty reasonably priced as far as performance goes. For fun, I just threw in a group of my 17. It doesn't have a very good scope on it. I know with better glass I could get down, but not too bad. That's Hornady stuff. Anyway, just did that for fun. So, next group, we have started off with the Federal Value Pack, and this is a real winner here, guys. You can pick this up, don't even know where, don't even know when, for $29.99, $5.25 in a pack, and this was not good. 2.63 It is moving a little bit faster though, with 1332 feet per second, 42 max deviation, which wasn't too bad, which really surprised me why it got this crappy of a group, but it did. 36 grains, like I said, I paid $29.99 for this stuff. Don't know where or when, but probably won't be shooting it out of there again, but it's nice to have for plinking semi-auto stuff, you know. Next is this stuff, my favorite. Federal target grade, 325 round Peck. And as you can see here, it was awesome. Take out this guy, and that's under half an inch, with the little flyer measured in at 0.63. And another number that really surprised me was the 18 feet per second max deviation. Super consistent. And like I said, this is 40 grains and going at 1208 feet per second. You can shoot this a little bit further than you can the stuff that's moving slower. I got this probably, I have no idea where, for $22, and it's probably cheaper than that now. I've had this stuff for a long time. I'm really glad this rifle shoots this stuff well because it's cheap and you can get it anywhere. So we'll talk a little bit more about this stuff later. Next up, another popular one, Thunderbolt. I'll be throwing this stuff in the trash right now. So here's the Thunderbolt group. Measured in at 1133 feet per second with a little over 2 inch spread. Something to note here, max deviation on this was 277 feet per second. Now that's huge with 22s. Out of the 10 that I just randomly picked out of this box, 3 were squib loads, and the 2 of them I thought were so bad they got stuck in the barrel. So needless to say, I won't be shooting it out of this rifle anymore. I think I got 2,000 rounds of this stuff maybe. It works okay out of my 1022, but definitely not shooting it out of the Ruger anymore. So yeah, there's that. Pretty poor performance. Next up, we have another popular one, Golden Bullet. And as you can see, here's the group here. Measured in at 1.75. It's going 1158 feet per second. This is a 36 grain bullet. 133 max deviation, so 2 poor showings for Remington bullets here. And I know they're not expensive, but I don't know where I got it. Picked it up for $31. Not bad for plinking. Not good for shooting groups. Next, let's see what we got here. One that I've never even heard of, this was actually given to me by my cousin, we shoot together quite a bit actually, is the PMC Moderator. Subsonic 38 grain. Apparently he paid $1.99 a box for it. No wonder he gave it to me. It averaged 994 feet per second, 38 max deviation. And it's actually pretty good. This is surprising. I would definitely shoot this again out of this rifle. Measured in at 0.91, which again, really good. Can't shoot it past 50 at all with that velocity, but hey, it works well. Moving on. The last one of the day will be everybody's favorite, Laser. This one was screaming, blazing, 1,203 feet per second. Pretty good group. Take out this little guy, we're looking under an inch. As is, I measured 1.27, 67 max deviation for me, and again, you can pick this stuff up for about $2.99 a box. Or $1.99 rather. He paid $1.99, which is, hey, that's all the better. You know, you take out this thing, you're looking at under an inch group for $2 a box. Can't beat that. So, conditions on this particular day were cold, 25 miles an hour, 3 to 4 mile an hour wind, left to right. As you can see, most of my groups were grouping to the right. I didn't adjust the scope, I just went with it. 10 a.m. that day it was heavy snow. I couldn't have shot any more than this. I was getting snowed on, everything was getting wet, so I decided to stop with that. So, anyway, moving on. Next day, next round. The first one we went with on this day was Aguila. And their stuff usually shoots pretty well for me. I've had good luck. This was a little bit disappointing for me. Shot worse than I thought it would, but still under a group. Super extra, 40 grains. 1167 feet per second. This particular group here, which was pretty good, measuring at 0.90, 95 feet per second max deviation, which is quite a bit, but this ammo was like I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong. $5.99 a box. And again, you'll probably find out on the internet for $2.99, but Dunham's likes to jack the prices up. Either way, pretty good stuff. We'll talk more about this later. Next, Fiocchi Subsonic. And this is 40 grain. Not too bad for being subsonic. For whatever reason, after I shot this Aguila stuff, my chronograph quit working. It worked all the way before that and all the way after these next couple rounds. So I don't know if it was because these next few have a severe coating on them or what. It was a light snow, but it was working in a heavy snow. So I don't know what was going on with this. So I couldn't get an average reading for these. These were moving pretty slow. Regardless, this measured in at 0.85, which is pretty good. I think I paid $4.99 for this. Not bad stuff. Wouldn't push it past 50 yards, but again, not bad. Next, Norma TAC 22, pretty popular stuff, and I think they make this more specifically for the semi-auto AR-22 style platform, but I know it's popular, so I got a box anyway. As you can see here, not great. This is a 40 grain. This particular spread measured in at 2.52, and there's not much deviation left to right. So, I mean, it's super inconsistent. I wish I could have got it on a chronograph, but I didn't for whatever reason. $4.99 a box. Haven't shot it out of a 10-22. Might be okay, but for this application, probably won't be shooting this stuff anymore. But didn't work for me. Might work for somebody else. Next, some super good stuff here. Fiocchi Official 320. I know this stuff's pretty popular. Nice box. This is probably the nicest box out of all these stuff this came in. Didn't even rip. You know, when you have a 22 and it rips the corners off, that drives me crazy. Anyway, this didn't do it. And this one, this little guy, I wrote down here and made a note to myself. This was no fault whatsoever of the ammo, the rifle, wind, none of that. I know for a fact that I pulled this round. So, anyway, again, chronograph wasn't working. This stuff has a super heavy coating of wax or whatever. I don't know why it quit working, but it did. 40 grains. 0.84 with me pulling that, and without it, 0.68. So great shooting round. We'll definitely be getting this stuff out again. So, yeah, moving on. Next, this was a pretty good lot of ammo here, minus this next one. The RWS target rifle. You see that there. 40 grains. This one here, I don't know what happened. It wasn't super windy, but this was the first round that I fired with this ammo, and it went all the way over here, so I don't know what's going on with that little guy. But with that, it's 3.35. Take that out there. We're looking more about 1.5 inches, so not good, not bad, sort of run-of-the-mill. But for $7 a box, I would definitely hope it'd be down more in the inch range, but for this rifle, for that day, it wasn't. So, not bad. Probably won't try any more of this stuff, but might work for somebody else. Now, Remington had two pretty poor offerings with the Thunderbolt and the Golden Bullet, and this kind of redeemed them a little bit. This is the standard velocity target, 40 grains, and again, I had to make a note to myself here. No fault of the ammo, the rifle, wind, none of that. And this was all me. Without the flyer, it's measuring at 0.61, which is really good. They definitely redeemed themselves on this ammo. But with the flyer, just over 1 inch, still pretty good. Definitely be getting this stuff out on the range again. $7.99 for this. Not bad. Definitely be shooting some more of this stuff. Okay. Now, this stuff is by far the most expensive 22 ammo I've ever shot. And this little guy here, since this one was so bad, when I shot this target, I went to look at this round, so I shot this one for whatever reason. So this was supposed to be here. Just don't look at that. And this is the Midas. Again, the chronograph wasn't working for these, so I don't know why. The group was 0.65, solid group. And this stuff, I paid $17.99 a box. As you can see, I wrote a little smiley, frowny face down by that. Gave all this ammunition a fair shake, but I was really hoping this stuff wouldn't work, because it's $17.99 a box, and who wants to pay that kind of money? But as you can see, it did shoot well, which was no surprise. That day, it wasn't working from a chronograph, but when I shot at 100, it was. So this is the measurements, about 1,000 feet per second, max deviation of 54. So performed as advertised. I don't make enough money to buy this stuff in bulk. May get 50 or 100 more just for fun, but still not the best shooting round. But and what are you gonna do? The last round, this wolf, MT, super popular. 40 grains, pretty good group as you can see. Measured in at 0.75. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about this at the end of the video. I went ahead and got a brick of 500. I just went ahead and assumed that it would shoot well because this is made by Lapua in Germany. I mean, look at the case, it's the same. I think I got it off of SG Ammo. It was $59.95 for 500. So, like I said, this stuff shoots as everybody says it does. At least for me, it did anyway. So, pretty happy with this. Going to talk a little bit more about this at the end of the video. So, moving on. So this is the last round of ammo that I tried for this particular go round, and the first one we have is CCI Velociter. It's advertised at 1435, 40 grains. For me, it was pretty close, 1406. This group measured 1.35, which isn't bad for a 22 that's moving that fast. I paid $6.49 for this. I think I might have got this from Brownells. I can't really remember. Not bad stuff, considering. Shoots pretty good. Next, we have Norma Match 22, 40 grain, supposedly going 1100 feet per second. And as you can see, that was not the case for me out of this 20-inch barrel. It was moving about 960, and this is not the best of groups here. 1.87, a little bit disappointed in that. Max deviation was a little bit high too at 88 feet per second. So $6 a box. I'd like to see it a little bit better. Probably won't be buying this stuff anymore, or any type of Norma ammo for that matter. But there it is. Today, on this particular day, it was in the morning, snowing a little bit, gusty winds, 4 to 5 miles an hour left to right. As you can see, most of my groups are on the right. That's how the wind usually blows around here. Next, another great ammo, CCI Green Tag. I had to wait a little bit for this to come in. I got this off Midway. It didn't ship with all the rest of it. I think it came about a week later. It's a little bit pricey, not bad for what it shoots. I paid $17.99. I'm sure you can find it cheaper, but that's for 100. 40 grains, measured 1,045 feet per second. Pretty good group, 0.65. Max deviation was 56. Pretty happy with this. I'm sure I could get it smaller than that if you tried, but definitely looking forward to getting this out on the range again. So Green Tag, not bad. Alright, the last 3 types of ammo that I tried was Aguila Target Competition. And I was disappointed in this stuff. I thought it'd do better, I'm not going to lie. I was moving about 1,045 feet per second. Max deviation 57, $5 a box. Take out this and it would probably be under an inch or right at one. But not bad. I expected it to be a little bit better because all their other stuff shoots pretty well out of my gun. But this is the only box I got. I'm definitely going to be trying this some more. Maybe ordering some more. Who knows? But not bad. The only SK ammo I got was standard, and I didn't dive too deep into this stuff. I know they make a whole bunch of different ammo. Just tried one of the more popular ones. It's 40 grains. It's moving about 1,000 feet per second. So I don't know what happened with this guy. Could have been wind. I don't know. I've pulled shots before, but never that bad. At least at 50 yards anyway. So with that, it was measuring about 1.5 inches. Take that out, a little bit closer to an inch. So I don't know what happened there. Max deviation was 35 feet per second, which isn't too bad. This is about the run-of-the-mill stuff for them, $6.29. Definitely going to be trying some more of this. And the last type of ammo that I tried for this particular round was Pistol King by Lapua. And this is a 40 grain. Surprised me. It was going a little bit faster than I thought it would. It was going a little over 1,000 feet per second. And out of all the ammo that I tried on this particular round of comparison, was the smallest one, 0.54, which max deviation of 72 feet per second. Now, I will probably be buying more of this stuff, considering it's only $7.99 only. That's still expensive for 22. But when you compare it to the Midas Plus and some of the other more expensive stuff out there, this shot better, at least for me on this day. And this was the smallest group that I measured. So what I did after that was I took the smallest group out of the 4 days that I was out shooting and decided to move them out to 100 yards. So I'm going to show you guys that target real quick. Look at all my mess here. So here is my 100-yard target. And let me find this ammo here. Sorry guys, I got a bunch of stuff. So the first one was this Federal target grade, and this was at 100 yards. It was about 9:30 in the morning, fairly gusty, 4 to 5 mile an hour winds. It was moving from right to left, so you'll see most of these groups are to the left. Now this surprised me. If it wasn't for the wind, I'm thinking this would have been a little bit closer to 1.5 inches. But as is, with this little guy out in the middle of nowhere, it was just over 2 inches. So not bad. And like I said, conditions weren't ideal. They weren't like they were at 50 yards when I was shooting this stuff. But did well. Happy with it. Talk a little bit more about this stuff here in a second. Next one I went with, the smallest one overall, and the smallest one out of its bunch was Pistol King. Now, this is going super subsonic here. I can't remember exactly, it was about 1,000 feet per second. So, as you can see, this stuff was right on. And holding dead center for this stuff is grouping down here. Now this did, for the first round, group the best, measuring it at about 1.8 inches, which is pretty good, especially for a subsonic ammunition. I wouldn't like to shoot it much further than that, but for the day, not bad, 1.8. Next was something that really surprised me. Sorry, I gotta dig through my ammo again here. Find this stuff. This 3.95 inches, not good. But again, it was going slow. What do you expect? Not bad. Or not good, I'm sorry. Almost 4 inches. So, good at 50. Not good at 100. The last one was Midas. Again, this surprised me too. I thought this would be much closer to the Pistol King. But not quite. This measured in a little over 3 inches. So, good stuff at 50 yards, not at 100, but what are you going to do? So, my overall thoughts of trying this stuff, price versus availability versus performance, I'm going to go with this all day long. Get it anywhere, it's cheap, and it's shot getting close to 1/2 inch for me. So, my recommendation, at least give this a try if you have this rifle. May like it, may not.